It's Hollie's Hotspurs back with another one. Chatting all things Tottenham, we're second to none. Special guests every time, if it's win, lose or draw. The passion is high like Harry Kane when he scores. Or when Lloris makes a world-class save. We got Højbjerg running the mid every game. Settle down, stick around, share your thoughts with the panel. And make sure you're subscribing to the channel. Coys.
Hello and welcome to another Hollie's Hotspurs Live, where actually Harry Kane is scoring and we all live in lavish. It's a great time to be alive and obviously beating, levering that record. But with me tonight to obviously talk about a win, which is very strange on Hollie's Hotspurs Live in the last couple of weeks, I am joined by three fabulous guests. First of all, we are joined by channel member Ross. Ross, it is so nice to have you on again. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Like Gareth Bale, I have returned to where I started.
Love that. It's so great to have you on, Ross. Also joined by Jay. Jay, thank you very much for coming on this evening. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Super sub duties as per. It's good to come on for a win. I think last time I was on with Connor, it wasn't so good, but this time we're on for a win. So hopefully it's a bit more of a positive chat.
Agreed. Yeah, it's quite nice to, like I said, after the last couple of weeks, to actually have a win to talk about is nice. And also Connor being a sub as well tonight. Thank you so much. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I feel like a sort of Pavlyuchenko super sub. You know, I'm happy with that. That's a good level to be at. I'm good. I'm happy with the result yesterday. We didn't lose and we actually played all right. So yeah, not bad. Thanks.
It's a win-win, literally. It's a good job. Like I said, it's good to have you three on with me to dissect everything. But let's get down to business. Obviously, we did manage to beat Fulham away from home. And I think we needed that bounce back, don't we, Ross? I think we needed it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, stop the bleeding kind of thing. You know, I mean, those two previous games were just awful. I mean, we looked terrible and we didn't start out the best. You know, I was kind of like, it's that Groundhog Day feeling going. But, Harry Class A, man, he comes through for us. And he got us the goal. And, I said, hey, I'll take it. Any way we get a win, 3 points is 3 points.
100%. That's probably the best way to put it, Ross. So thank you for that opening statement. But Jay, I'll come to you. Obviously, we were kind of thinking, is Conte going to mix it up a bit? Is he going to change the starting 11? Obviously, there was talks about maybe Sonny dropping out with his recent form at the moment and Richie starting. But do you think it was a good idea that Conte stuck with the same starting 11 that obviously faced City?
I said this. A lot of people on Twitter questioning that there were no changes to the 11. I can't remember the exact saying, but someone said something like, "Oh, if you stubborn people don't change," or something stupid like that. But Conte doesn't care about other people's opinions. He cares about picking what he thinks is the best team for the game. That starting 11 is probably on paper, if you take out form, probably our best 11 anyway. Maybe Davies for Longley, maybe he's probably the only change. But apart from that, it's probably our best 11. And we played well against City, by the way. Everyone seems to act like we played City and were awful in the first half and didn't create anything. We weren't any good. It's a different caliber of opponent. If we played well against City and that starting 11 scored 2 goals in the first half against City, there's no reason why that team shouldn't beat Fulham. So I wasn't shocked to him not see any changes. He's very stubborn in his ways. He believes in his system and he believes in the players that he believes in, and he doesn't care about what we say on Twitter, and we won. So he's the one who's laughing. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think you make a great point because obviously I don't know what it is, Connor, with Sonny at the moment. He doesn't seem to be firing on all cylinders because obviously this time last season, he was on 23 goals. At the moment, he's on 4. And I think the only reason I was really thinking, just chuck Richie and have a go is because Sonny is so off form at the moment. It's strange.
Yeah, I think it's an odd one because I think we're all saying Sonny needs to be dropped for his own good, really, because it can't be helping him being on the pitch consecutively all this time and not scoring, not assisting, not doing anything. But I think Conte is, as you'll see in interviews, he's very clear that he doesn't want to upset Sonny. He knows that Sonny, I think it's his belief. I think if he drops him, then he thinks about it even more and it makes it worse. So I think Sonny isn't going to get dropped. I think even with this new signing, potentially, we're going to talk about later, I think even if he comes in, I can't see Sonny getting dropped still because like Kane, he is one of the first on the team sheet. And I think it's evident that he's burnt out. But that's where you got to weigh it up. Are you burnt out and you're then going to rest them, or it's an odd one, and I'm loving that comment. It's pretty.
No, it is true. I think we're just all kind of a little bit concerned. I think we're just kind of thinking this isn't the Sonny we know, but maybe you're right, Connor. Maybe he is burnt out. Do you think that's the kind of feeling, Ross, that we've got to remember? We have had a World Cup, and I know it's not an excuse, but with Sonny having to hold the whole weight of his nation on him, maybe that was something playing on his mind to why he's probably so burnt out.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. It could be the World Cup. That's kind of an anomaly thing. It doesn't come around too often. Me, I don't worry about Sonny. I know I want him to play well, and I'm probably yell at him just as much as anybody else does during the game. But he always comes out of it. He always does. Same with Harry Kane. Same thing. Everybody's always, drop him, get rid of him. I mean, this is a world-class player we're talking about. As they say, form is temporary, class is permanent. So I'm fine with Sonny being out there and staying in the team because he'll break out in one of these games.
100%. I think that's the thing. I think lots of people are being too harsh, but I think it's because he set the bar so high. And I think that's why we're just a bit, it's not necessarily we're annoyed that we want him dropped. It's more we're just worried, I think. But like you said, Ross, I think his time will come back. He'll be fine soon enough. Well, see, let's start with the game because it kicks off. And like most Spurs games at the minute, they start very slow and you get very nervous.
Yeah, it was very, very nervy at the beginning. Fulham's press was relentless. And the thing that I found weirdest about that first half was that we couldn't play the ball 5 yards forwards without there being a misplaced pass. We'll probably talk about Højbjerg in more depth later, but he was probably the worst player on the pitch yesterday. And funnily enough, I'd probably say his partner in midfield wasn't great yesterday either. I thought they were both lost in that midfield and couldn't get on the ball. And they had moments of brilliance. They're always going to. But I think Fulham's press just surprised us. I think we just looked frantic. We looked nervous. We looked like, we weren't a quality team. It looked like, Liverpool of old playing, like a bottom of the half table team, just pressing the hell out of us and waiting for us to make a mistake. I saw Hugo with the ball at his feet way too many times than I would have liked.
Oh, every time the ball.
I know, man. I know. So yeah, it was a nervy start, and it's apart from the City game, very typical of our season to start extremely, extremely slow. But yeah, obviously it was. Got to give credit to Fulham though. They did look good and they did have a game plan. And they for once, the fullback, the wing back that was causing us trouble defensively was Perisic, because they were targeting that side with De Cordova-Reid on that side and just crossing the ball into Mitrovic every time. And it seemed it worked every time. So yeah, I just don't think it was the best start. And yeah, it was very Spursy to begin. Very Spursy.
I think you're right. I want to pick up obviously on the point you make about the way they had their game plan, because Connor, I think for me, just seeing a ball fly into the box every time just stressed me out. And it's mad how we let players on opposition teams have so much space to allow them to do that.
It's mental, and it's even more mental where I'm not going to try and go too much into the defense too much because we know how much I hate this defense, but it is typical. Well, it's surprising that we play like that when the defense is as bad as it is. I mean, I cannot stress enough that first City goal that they scored it epitomised everything about our defense, and I cannot stop thinking about it constantly, even when football's not on. It haunts me. It really haunts me that all of them were at fault for that, and it really surprises me that we were very happy to let Fulham have the ball. And listen, Fulham have been absolutely incredible this season, honestly, and I went into this really, really worried. I was expecting us to maybe not just lose, maybe really struggle. Chelsea went there. I know they're not playing well, but they went there and lost. And I was surprised that we were willing to give them so much time, but clearly it worked. Clearly, I think we grew into the game. That's what it was. We grew into the game, and then obviously the little moment from Harry. But yeah, yeah.
No, it was right. I think, like I said, it was a madness how not that we didn't concede, because I was just sat there thinking one of these crosses in a minute is going to end in something. But luckily we rode the wave and we kind of got away with it. But obviously we've touched on it a little bit, Ross, and that is the fact that last night I was just waiting to play Hugo Lloris bingo, and that was waiting for him to make a mistake. But luckily for us, there was a few hairy moments. He didn't, but that clean sheet will do him the world of good.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's really struggled. And I mean, I've always been a huge defender of Hugo. I've always said for years, even when people are criticizing him, I mean, we would not be where we are without him. I mean, he's a great keeper. But lately, I don't know. He's been coming out a lot more and coming off his line, which surprises me because he used to never do that. I mean, obviously, there's situations where you have to do that. But it seems like he's looking to do it a lot more. But this game he didn't. He stayed on his line. He stayed back. You know, he stayed focused. Fortunately, he wasn't they had some chances, but I don't think they had anything that was really. I think maybe a few times he had something he had to deal with. But yeah, that's definitely going to go well with him and maybe kind of calm him down a little bit and settle him in that he got this clean sheet.
He definitely needs it, doesn't he, Jay? Because I don't know how many times I always get you on this podcast and we always talk about Hugo because I know you like to obviously defend him, but even you now, I mean, there was one chance where he obviously got the ball and he slapped it, and me and you looked at each other and thought, what is he doing there?
That I hate saying from experience because it makes you sound like a professional goalkeeper. It's not. It's just you're taught. It screams of a goalie with low confidence when a shot's right at you and you don't take it straight away in your hands and you have to palm it down. It shows that he's really, really, really struggling with confidence in a minute. And like Ross said, that clean sheet will do him the world of good. Yesterday, yeah, it was a bit hairy. I did actually think his distribution was a little bit better than what it's been recently yesterday. There was a couple of times he picked a few passes out. Normally, there's 0 times he picks passes out. So 1 or 2 was probably a plus. But yeah, there was a couple of moments where I can't remember how exactly it went, but he kind of fumbled it and fell on it. And there was a Fulham player there. And if the Fulham player had got there, he would have tapped it in sort of thing. There's a couple of moments like that. But yeah, I just think I don't know. I say this about Lloris, and I'll defend him. And like Ross said, we wouldn't be where we are without him. But I genuinely don't think he's been the same goalkeeper since the Brighton injury where he fell on his back. I don't think he's never been as consistent from that point. I don't know whether it's something psychologically, but he always looks flustered. He always looks, and obviously with him being captain, we saw with the documentary, what he's like behind closed doors. But on the field, he always seems very quiet. He seems quite cagey, and you don't really get to. He looks nervous, but he is, and I say it all the time, and people root me for it. He's a World Cup captain winner. That man has handled pressure at the highest level and succeeded. So yeah, it's good for him to get a clean sheet, but still a little bit too cagey for me.
And I think that's the thing. I know we always go back to it, and like you say, Jay, he is a World Cup winner and he is a captain. But Connor, I think if his time isn't up soon, I think we'll be talking obviously something different. But I think that his time is coming to an end, sadly. But he has been a great servant for the club. It's just nice last night to be a little bit more relaxed in terms of when we got that goal to go up, which we will talk about in a minute.
Yeah, 100%. I think he needed that. He probably needed that more than all of them, to be honest. The defense, in my eyes, did very well last night. But I think for him, it's big. Jay, spot on. Confidence. His confidence is gone. It's been gone for a while. I mean, I get what you say about he's handled pressure at the highest level, and he has. He's a World Cup winner. But then again, I always view the World Cup final when he made that mistake as reflective of the goalkeeper that he has always been. So he's got that in him. But I agree with Ross as well. He's been loyal to. He's been a massive part of how the highs over the past couple of years and the lows. And he's unfairly slated a lot. I think yeah, he makes all these mistakes, and yeah, we all think that his time is coming up. But we can still admire him and we can still respect him for the goalkeeper he was and everything he's done, because he has been loyal and he has been reliable. And yeah, it was nice for him. It was nice for him.
It's going to be very strange when we see a new keeper walk through the door. Because like you say, I've only really, well, I haven't ever known Lloris, but for a lot of my support in Tottenham years, I've only ever really known Lloris. So it'd be strange when a new goalkeeper comes in. But yeah, it was good for him to get some confidence. But Ross, we've got to talk about someone now that is obviously Mr. Tottenham, and that is Harry Kane. What a class finish from that man yesterday to obviously level with Jimmy Greaves.
Oh, yeah. Amazing. I mean, you just, and the same thing, everybody, when he's not playing so well or he's not scoring goals, oh, Harry, whatever, but he always pulls it out. Like, 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and get the ball to Harry Kane in the box and he will score. I mean, You know, it's just automatic, and it was just great. And great job for Sonny there. I mean, Sonny set that up. You know, so everybody that's talking about Sonny, he assisted that goal. So maybe that'll go a long way toward that. But yeah, I mean, and now we're hearing about contract extension talks for Harry with the club, which is awesome. I really hope he does that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I mean, if he decides he wants to go, I mean, I understand. You know, it'll suck, but I understand. You know, he's been here forever, good club, and if he wants to go try it somewhere else, he's given us all that he can.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Even though there's so much talk around Harry Kane, I know there is at the moment. Obviously, we'll try and get into it a bit later if we have time with Conte, and obviously, is Kane staying? Is he going? Is Conte staying? With all of that happening off the field, Jay, he manages to obviously still stay focused, and I still don't know how he does it. I know it's instinct, but he takes that touch. He doesn't even look up to see where the goal is. It just whacks it in the bottom corner.
He is for me, and many players have said it that have played with him. He is the ultimate professional, and a lot of people in the last summer, the summer where he was supposed to go to City, questioned his professionalism and everything. And to me, I think that's a symptomatic thing of how football's become, that the fact that Kane is staying loyal, is doing the right things, saying the right things, not causing any trouble. We're just not used to seeing it from a player of that caliber. We're used to seeing a player going, give me all the money or I'm going to go Madrid, give me all the money or I'm going to go City. And I think he's just a guy that, you see him and Kate and they, they just seem like a normal couple. Do you see what I mean? It's like I just think he is. I think he just loves where he is, and if he does go, fair enough. But I don't think, there was a couple of weeks ago when it was like, oh, Kane's definitely going, and then you're seeing all of the compilations on the timeline.
You're not getting me started on these stupid compilations, man.
You're seeing hours. And it's the same people. And if we do get to talk about Conte later, I'll probably bring up the same point and put my line in the sand. But it's the same people that after yesterday's win ain't saying nothing really on the timeline. They've been quite vocal the last couple of weeks. But going back to Kane, that goal is everything about him. And I loved at full time when Sky Sports talked through the goal with him. And he just said, I didn't need to look where the goal is. It's that muscle memory. He said, oh, if I do this, the defender will come in, and then I know that I've got enough chance to hit it around. He is just a class act, and I've defended him since forever. And during the whole City saga, I was always, because everyone forgets in the City saga, he had his brother representing him, and you always try and keep your family and business separate if you want to be super successful. So yeah, he's world class and will always be.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I don't think I could have put it any better myself, Jay. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. But obviously, Connor, the fact that he's obviously scored 266 goals for Tottenham, he is literally level with the club legend that is Jimmy Greaves. It's just, you literally cannot even write it. It's a madness.
You couldn't write it. I mean, for me personally, he epitomizes every single thing that I love about this football club. He's the dream. He's the man. I could cry because I really love him. I really, really love him. And when there was that whole, I'm with Jay, when there was that whole City saga going on, I was like, no, I was like, good for him if he does go, because he deserves it. He's always been so loyal with us. He's always given everything, We're not gonna go in that chat about we should play the Champions League final. All that, I'm not gonna bother with that. But in general, he's just everything. He always gives his all. He always gives all for England as well. He is the model professional. He is the man who you can always rely on. And the fact that he is level with Greaves now is just so deserving. I mean, even there was that thing when he scored his 265th goal, I think it was. Or was it the same day that Greaves did as well? And
yeah.
You literally could not write that. That's perfect. That two fantastic professionals, two fantastic people, and I love him. Whether he stays or not, I love him. And yeah, I'm so proud that he plays for this football club. Honestly, he makes me so happy.
Well said. Well said.
Agreed. I mean, I don't want to obviously put a dampener on it, but Ross. Oh, sorry. Do you want to talk, Ross? Go for it. Are you sure? I'll come to you anyway. I was going to say, because I don't want to put a damper on it, but he could have obviously beaten the record last night because he did kind of have a sitter after Kulusevski crossed the ball in. I think Davies' back post headed it back to him and he headed it straight at Leno.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. I'm like, oh, because, normally that's in, when he gets those headers, he's so good at those headers. That was one thing, I haven't supported Spurs long, but just didn't take me long to just, notice how good he is at that and finding the goal. But, it's one of those things that happens. But he'll get it, and I think he'll get Shearer's record too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. I think regardless if he goes or he stays, I think the big thing I want for him is to obviously win a trophy, and whether that's with Tottenham or not, I think he will go on and stay in England just to obviously beat that Shearer record. But Ross, I'm going to stay with you because, as many people know, Emerson Royale I'm not his biggest fan, but my God, he definitely ate his Weetabix last night. He was a different bloke.
He was. He definitely was. I mean, I've never gotten too hard on him. I mean, I think he's more of a fullback than a wingback. I mean, that's kind of where his talents lie. I think he's a much better defender than he is going forward. But yeah, yesterday he was. I mean, that one shot he had, that was a good shot. The one from the side there, I was like, wow, who is that? Who are you and what'd you do with Emerson Royal? I mean, but he really did play well, and he is capable of that. But yeah, I just think, he's like I said, he's a fullback playing wingback. Wingback is just not really in his, I mean, he can do it. I mean, obviously he'll do what's asked of him, but getting down there, getting a cross in, I mean, is not really his thing. And I think I've seen at times where, on that side, usually one of the winger will, if it's Kulu, whoever is over there with him, I don't remember exactly, will kind of, do some of that. And then he doesn't have to kind of do it. And he can kind of, sit back a little bit and defend like he's good at doing. But no, he had a great game, and credit to him. I mean, he pulls those out now and then.
And that's the thing. Like, I was just sat there thinking, what have they done with him? And that's the thing, Jay. I think Ross makes a great point in the fact that he hasn't really got those attacking abilities. But his compilation last night, I think when he did that weird little trick, is definitely going to feature on his little highlight reel.
Oh yeah, his social media team are lacking. I've been gagging for a compilation video all day. I've been waiting for one. Notifications are on and everything. I couldn't believe it. We were sat watching it together, and I was just like, he's our best player. Like, I actually think he was robbed for man of the match. Absolutely robbed for man of the match. If Kane doesn't score and anyone else scores, I think he gets man of the match. But he was exceptional yesterday. I don't know, because the question is, why has he changed? Or, is it competition? All this Pedro Porro talk, all of this stuff. Is he going, no, I'm the man? And I feel like, obviously I don't know the bloke, but I feel like he probably is quite a pride-driven guy. And I think Tottenham to be talking about buying a wing-back that's obviously, with all the money that we're going to spend on Porro, going to be the starter, he's gone, nah, I'm not going anywhere. You guys have got me, and I'm going to prove I'm the best. His haircut was a little bit questionable yesterday, I will say that. I don't know what was going on. He had like handlebars here. It was interesting, but his performance was amazing, and I was so surprised. It's like I said, it was Perisic that was the problem yesterday, not Emerson. So long may it continue, and we don't have to spend 45 million on a right back, so Daniel Levy will be buzzing.
I won't go that far, Jay. Jesus, don't say that. No, I think you're right. I need to give him a bit of a respect because he was good last night. And Connor, I think obviously Ross has touched on it, the fact that he's got Decky in front of him to literally do all the technical stuff going forward. But I think we do look 100% better when we've got obviously Decky doing the business, because again we lose that creativity on that wing if he's not there.
Oh, 100%. I'll go into that. I do quickly want to talk about Emerson. And this guy, as you'll know, is unfairly been the butt of quite a lot of my jokes that I make. And in reality, I do really like him. I do. He's a trier, and it's so hard to have someone in your football club who tries as much as him every single game. And yes, he is sometimes fairly slated, but the one thing he always has had is the trying, and you got to love him for that. And it's beautiful to see, because you get the little things where you lose to Villa and he's posting on his Instagram story that he's got he's nutmegged someone, and you're like, mate, we've just lost the game. What are you doing? But But yeah, I love him in that sense. I love that he is really sort of trying. And the way I've always seen it is as well, Conte plays him. There's a reason why Conte plays him. Everyone would always go, oh, why is Conte always playing? Where's Spence? Where's Doherty? But there's a reason why he plays him. And clearly it's starting to show. In terms of Decky, we have missed Decky so much. It's so good to have him back. You are right. Spot on. All the creativity comes through him. We have not got a lot of creativity in our team, to be honest. I mean, the most creative centre midfielder we probably do have is Bentancur. And even then, that's not really his job. But bloody hell, give the ball to Kulu and he can do anything. It's insane that he's our player. There's a couple of players in this club and you just think, I can't believe they play for my football club. And that is him. It's just, I don't know how we pulled that off last January. He is incredible, honestly.
He really is. And I think he's my best player now. The fact that the amount of creativity that comes down that side is just insane. But Jade, on the flip side, talking about people that haven't had such a great game was Højbjerg yesterday, because he drove me up the wall.
Yeah, the Danish Harry Winks is what I'm starting to call him. We've got a friend, if she's watching, Jade. She says that she has absolutely no idea why Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is considered one of the best centre midfielders, and you're starting to see why. Yesterday was sketch as hell. I don't know what's happened to him. He is a statistician. I'm really struggling with my big words today. I'm just going to go with 5-letter words only. He's a stats man's dream. I even struggle with that one. He passes, does a couple of tackles, but yesterday was just losing the ball, was erratic, was out of position, was making runs he shouldn't be making, and I just I don't know where we go from him. I don't know who comes in there. Would I drop him for Basuma? I actually would. I would probably drop him for Basuma. I'm not saying we need to get him gone and he's awful. I'm just saying he seems to be a stonewall in the team every single week. And I just think, I don't know, maybe he's complacent, but I think he needs to be dropped and someone needs to go in there and do a better job.
I think you're right in that kind of sense. And Ross, I don't, like Jay says, I don't think he needs to be necessarily taken out the squad entirely, but I don't know, we need to maybe give Basuma a look in, because I know Basuma, he hasn't had much game time, and when he has played, he hasn't looked great. But again, maybe he's a confidence player, and with Højbjerg playing these misplaced passes every 5 seconds, maybe it's his time to have a go.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Højbjerg is more of the defensive mid, and he was running around, like in the second half, he was kind of running around, making the effort and kind of, getting in there and mixing it up and making tackles and stuff. But yeah, he does it. If he's off, he's off. He's one of those ones, on, he's on. If he's off, he's off. Sometimes he's done well when he's played a little more forward. I know for Denmark, he does that. He plays a little more forward, and he's had a couple of goals for us being up there. So that could be it too. But yeah, Basuma, I definitely would like to see. I was excited when we signed Basuma, but I don't know if it's just, we just played so much of a different system than he had at Brighton or whatever. And if that's kind of, it's taking him some time to work in. But I would like to see us do a 3-man midfield, because I think we get swarmed in the mid too much, with just the two. And then that's part of the problem, is they just crowd the mid and, cut us off, because if you cut Harry Kane and Sonny off and Kulu off from the midfield, then, it's just the, hoof it ahead and pray kind of thing going on.
I think you make a great point, because it's week in, week out. I'm sat here thinking, how are we getting swamped again? And Connor, is that Conte being stubborn, or do you just think he's trying to work this formation that we see him do week in, week out?
Oh, do you know what? That is the hardest question you could possibly ask. Is it Conte being stubborn, or is it just him trying to work the system? I think he's probably at a point now where he doesn't feel like he can really do much else with these players. But at the same time, I mean, listen, he's tested the other system. At Brighton away earlier this season, he did try that system, and it worked. But I'm with Ross. I think it would be great to have the 3 in the middle, and Basuma hasn't clicked for whatever reason. It might be because of Conte's system. It might be for other reasons. Some signings just don't work out. I could give you a list of about 1 million of them at Tottenham, to be honest. But I think it'd be nice to see the system tested again. But in reality, I think Conte is stubborn, and for good reason. He is stubborn for the right reasons, and it has worked most of the time. But I think he needs to. Let's face it. I personally don't think we can get top 4. So I think it's going to get to a point in the season where we're just going to say, you know what, let's just test new things. I think it's a great idea. I think we should do it.
No, that's a fair comment. Obviously, I think we'd all like to get top 4. But again, with the likelihood of us waiting forever for Pedro Porro to go through, obviously we've got another person that we'll move on to in a minute. We've got a lot of obviously holes to still fill. And like you say, if we're not managed to come up with speed quick enough, those gaps between other teams are going to get bigger. But Jay, before we move on, I just want to pick up obviously the away support last night, because once again, you could hear them. I know we sadly weren't there, but you could hear them through the telly. And obviously there was a lot of chance about Levy out, which I think at the moment is obviously current. But also you can hear that, and then you can hear them getting behind the team. And I think that's the right balance we kind of need at the moment.
Can I just point out, I didn't realise how dead Fulham was. I don't think I heard their fans at all the entire game.
No, it's just that one word.
I don't know whether Sky had all of the mics at our end and none around the rest of the stadium, but I didn't hear Fulham at all. And I thought our fans were exceptional yesterday. I think, and this might annoy some people, but I think the away fans yesterday and their support for Conte shows more than people commenting on the manager on Twitter. I think people that follow the team up and down the country are backing this manager instead of wanting someone else. And I'm not saying his name because we might talk about it later. But they might want someone else. They might want someone else. But it's the loyal. They know that we've got something good here. And if we lose him, we kind of said this about Mourinho. He's the GOAT, not the GOAT. He's one of the GOATs of managing. If it doesn't work here, we're never going to win anything ever. But with Conte, again, he's another great manager. And I think the fans yesterday made their feelings clear, and they're entitled to do that. And I just think, being someone that's not as invested in the club as like Hollie and probably you three, to be fair, I am a self-proclaimed armchair football supporter. I watch it, and if I get to go to games, I get to go to games. But I still love the game. But I don't feel like I have the right to have the same passion and feel as a lot of fans do. And I always gauge things like this off the away support, because they're the ones. People that travel up and down the country supporting the club are the ones that care the most, in my opinion, or just have the most money. It's one of the two. But to see that they're obviously Levy out and supporting Conte, I think that really hammers home. A lot of the fan base should look at that and go, that's what we want to model ourselves off.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head. Like you said, I think the fact that they're the ones traveling, like you say, all the time, that are investing their money into the club, and now they're coming out backing the manager, saying their bit about the board, it kind of really puts into perspective where we kind of are. I mean, Ross, I kind of want to get your thoughts from across the pond. Obviously, I don't know how many times you get to watch Spurs come over here and watch them, this, that, and the other. How's your kind of feelings on the way that you saw last night and the support for obviously the team, for Conte, and obviously the Levy out chants?
Oh, it was great. I mean, the away fans have been bringing it all year. I mean, when I turn on the TV and like minutes in, I hear them, doing the chants and songs. It's like, wow. I mean, because I'll be in the Reddit thread, the match threads, and I'll usually comment on that. But they've been awesome, and that's great. And yes, I mean, I'm glad that they're, letting everybody know that they're supporting Conte, and but while also, expressing their frustrations about the board, which, we've all had. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think, it needs time. I mean, he needs, we can't just keep, cycling managers through. I mean, I've only been following for almost 4 seasons. It was Poch's last season was my first season really seriously following the club. And it's been like 4 or 5 managers if you count, what's his name? Mason in there. Mm-hmm. So, we need some continuity here, and you got to back him, because he'll walk. I mean, look what happened with Inter. He won the league with Inter, and the couple of weeks after that, he was gone because they didn't back him. He'll go. He won't waste any time.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. It's just nice to get obviously your thoughts, Ross, being obviously across the pond, and it's great to hear that how you're feeling as well. And the fact that you mentioned you've only been obviously following since the last year of Poch, and you've seen so many managers, it really puts into perspective what a merry-go we've got going on at the moment. But Connor, hopefully Conte is getting some players to obviously bring in this January transfer window. I know last time we've spoken a bit about Pedro Porro, so I'm just going to leave him for now. But obviously one's come out of the blue today, and that is Danjuma. So what's your thoughts on this kind of bit of news?
I think this is crazy. I think it is so out of the blue. It's so like, what? Like there was nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There's all this stuff about him, you know, doing interviews, about him doing all these photos, having everything, and then all of a sudden he is potentially a Tottenham player. And I'm like, what? Where has this come from? Is this a Conte signing? Is this a signing to appease the fans because we're all hating how it's another transfer window? We're 24 days into January and we've signed no one. And we're like, we have a winner here. How have we not backed him yet? You know, it's really crazy, really, really crazy. And it's hard to sort of grasp what it is, really. I'm happy with it. I think he's a good player. I think he was good at Bournemouth. Yes, okay, it was in the Championship, and he's gone to Villarreal, and his stats were quite interesting last season as well. I think I do like it for the reason that it's a loan, but it doesn't surprise me that it's a loan because all we do is loans. We do not sign players. It's always a loan obligation to buy, always a loan with, you know, maybe a little bit, and then it's just It's a nice distraction from Porro. I'm very happy that we're not talking about Porro all the time because I'm bored of that transfer at this point because I'm expecting it to potentially collapse. So I'm chuffed with it. And like with Ross saying as well, for you, I think you picked the worst time to start supporting us, Ross. Honestly, it's sort of been a downward trajectory, or maybe Jay would argue at a good time.
I was about to say, at least you saw Poch for the manager he was, Ross.
The manager.
I was warned. I was warned about supporting Spurs, but
yeah.
I'm going to move on from Poch talk. I'm going to talk about obviously what David said. He's just a replacement for No Look Mora for at least 3. Oh, don't call him No Look Mora, David. Please don't. I like Lucas. But Jay, do you think that's probably
better than that?
I know. David's just trying to wind me up. But Jay, do you think that's probably why we brought him in? Because I literally don't know where Lucas has gone. He's fallen off the face of the earth.
I think Lucas Moura again is one of those players that's coming to the end of his time, and I'd rather him not be in the squad and just disappear and have a nice farewell than Conte play him for playing him's sake and him be awful and the fans turn on him and forget all that he's done for the club and gave us arguably one of the best nights of our lives ever. Sorry, Hollie. It's for me. Danjuma. Sorry, I've been playing FIFA too much. Danjuma is you know, for me a weird signing. But the only thing I was really like, I don't think this is a good signing. What the hell are we doing? The only thing I looked at the substitutes from yesterday, and it's literally only Richarlison that can come on and change the game. And that for me changed my opinion of this signing because yes, it's a loan. But who are we going to bring on to change a game? He tore up Manchester United in the Europa League. In the Europa League. He tore him up in the Europa League and has been doing okay for Villarreal. So, you know, he's played in the Prem as well, so he's Prem ready, and he's probably got better since he left Bournemouth. Obviously, under Emery for a year or two, you know, he's going to become a better player with better coaching. But yeah, I just think impact sub, Decky picks up a knock or whatever. And then, because if you think if Decky, Son or Kane picks up a knock, obviously Richarlison will fill whichever gap he fills there. Then we've got no game changers on the bench whatsoever. So I'm happy with him. He's not a game. He's a good player. I like watching him. I think he's got a lot of potential. Do I think he's ready? No, but I think he's a game changer. And probably what we needed. But again, like you've said about 600 times today, Hollie, not on the podcast, just in general, he's not a defender.
He's not a defender. And that's literally brings me on to the next point, Jay. I feel like you've been scrubbing on how I do these shows. But Ross, Jay makes a good point. Obviously, Danjuma's great. I get your thoughts on Danjuma, but I just need a defender of some description, please.
Yeah, we do. We got to shore that up. I mean, you know, Dyer and Romero's great. I mean, we all love that. And Davis, he does his job. He's not perfect, but I mean, you can rely on him a little more than some others, I think. But Dyer, like I said, there's certain guys that have charges of good play, and once those charges are used up, then it's over. Sanchez is like that too. But he did all right yesterday. He didn't do too terrible. But we definitely could use some depth there because I mean, who else do we have? I mean, we've got Longley and we got Tanganga, who's kind of been shaky, and Sanchez. I mean, that's it. We definitely need more than that, especially with the defensive woes that we've been having.
Yeah, definitely. I think it just winds me up looking at our back line all the time, and the fact that, like you keep saying, Connor, we're 24 days into this January transfer window, and we literally keep saying that we're getting Pedro Porro, and we still haven't got him over the line. Doesn't make you happy for any other signings, does it?
Oh, do you know what? Honestly, I hate the transfer window. I hate it now. I officially hate it because I love it it's great to see what's going on with other teams, but I hate it supporting this football club because it's just so frustrating. And you know what? We might end up having a deadline day like we used to have, where we might go and get all right, we're not going to go and get a Ryan Nelson and a Louis Zaha again. I mean, that would be crazy.
That's a good reference. I rate that one.
But yeah, I'm bored. I keep saying I'm bored of it, but I am bored of it. I really am. I'm bored of this defense, which did well yesterday. So I don't want to slate them too much, but they are not good enough. They are not sustainable enough. And Porro is there for the taking. No one else is in for him. Get it done. Get it done before Chelsea come in, like they have for every single player at the minute. Do you know what I mean? It's just not worth it. We're haggling over a couple of million. We are haggling over a couple of million. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah,
I just hope we do something, like I say, hopefully something happens and we somehow spark into life and get the defenders we need and get Danjuma over the line. But moving on, obviously, we have got the FA Cup game at the weekend, Jay. We are away to Preston. I know Fulham goes out the window. I think they lost to Norwich. So if that's to put any perspective into anything, it means that we might be okay again. I hope we're okay because we all know we want to get a trophy for not just for us, but for Harry Kane as well. So it would be good to obviously get that one over the line.
An away day against Championship opposition, ringing bells from Middlesbrough. Definitely nervy. Obviously, I think we've rigged the FA Cup draw this year, so none of our loan players would ever get to play against us because obviously Troy's at Preston. It's just a banana peels that we need to avoid, and those sorts of games are games that we need to win. End of. Is our as optimistic and delusional as I'd like to be to say that we're still in the Champions League. The FA Cup is our only chance of winning a trophy this season, and if Newcastle win a trophy before us, I think I might jump out of a window. So
I'll join you.
Yeah, we've got to win. We have to win.
Yeah, I think we definitely do. Ross, are you? It's a silly question to say, are you on the same vibe? But it's just a game we need to brush aside.
Yeah, just need to go there and just get the job done. Take care of business. That's what I like to say. I mean, hopefully, I think he'll play a fairly strong squad. I don't think he'll play. I mean, there may be some young guys mixed in there, but I think it's not close to too many. I don't know when we play after that. Is it like the next weekend?
We've got another week.
Yeah, so there's some time there. So I think he'll play mostly a strong squad. So, but yeah, just got to go out and take care of business and just and get it done. Can't overlook those teams because that's we have the NCAA tournament basketball here, and you see upsets like that all the time because it's 64 teams and it's these little small colleges from all over the place, and then that's why it's so popular because those teams win and they upset the big boys, and it's everything to teams like that.
Definitely, I think that's the thing we need to watch in it, Connor. The fact that obviously they're going to be well up for it against us, and obviously it's at their gaff as well, which means for us it's another nervy kind of game for us.
It's the magic of the FA Cup. You can never write each other off. I've never been more confident purely and solely for the reason that I'm not going. I've decided not to go because the last 2 cup games we've been to, I have gone to away games and we have lost. Forest and Borough. So I'm not going for that reason. So hopefully the omen has stopped. but yeah, no, we just need to get the job done, to be honest. And that's no disrespect to Preston. But we should be fielding a strong team. We're not having any of this Poch versus Colchester stuff. This is and Jay's loving that.
Don't wind him up.
But yeah, this is the serious business. This is if Conte is leaving, if Kane is leaving, then just do it for them. Go for it, because what the FA Cup would mean to this whole fan base would be endless. I don't care if Arsenal won it about 4 years in a row. This is us. This would mean everything if we go on and win this. So yeah, put a strong team out, have the right attitude, and I believe we can at least get through the next round.
And the fact is as well, like Ross touched on, we've got a whole week, Jay. I mean, I know we play City, but we have got a whole week. So hopefully we obviously rest up and Conte does go out there and play the strongest team. And then we have to face City again. So Jay, just touch on this game quick. With City, how do we manage to stay in the lead this time and not go down and lose?
I'm going to go full Michael Owen and say don't concede 4 goals. Will probably help. I think the first half against City was good. And if we just maintain that, because that's the thing with this football team, is nothing's maintained. There's no consistency in the way the clubs run, in the transfers. Like Connor said, you've got fighting over Pedro Porro since 1 minute past midnight on January 1st till now, and then Dan Jummers just turns up and he's straight in a Tottenham shirt. Like, there's no consistency, and I just think we need to be consistent and trust the process and just play the way Conte sets the boys out to play, and just stick to the game plan and trust that he knows what he's doing, because I do think Conte knows what he's doing.
I just don't like the way you said trust the process, but it's fine. I'm moving on.
Well, the people that said trust the process are now top of the league and laughing at everyone else. So,
okay, all right. Moving on before we have a domestic. Ross, I'll come to you because obviously Jay said about let's not concede 4 goals, and I think that absolutely helps us because we've seen Hugo Lloris not obviously have a goal go in the back of his net. I know it's City, but we are also at home as well, so that's another added confidence to play City.
Definitely. And we usually do play well against them because our style with theirs. Basically with City, I think you just got to keep your shape at the back, maintain your shape, stay disciplined at the back. You can win the ball and you can break on them. I mean, we can break on them. And, I mean, there's not many teams that are as good on the break as we are with our finishing talent. So that's the key. That's what the problem was. Is the second half, we didn't keep our shape. We let them in the box. And, I mean, you let those guys, in the Holland and those guys in the box, it's over. I mean, they're gonna score. So that's the important thing, I think. We just keep our shape at the back, win the ball, hit them on the counter, and we can do it.
Definitely, because I think Connor for that City game, I think it was purely. I don't think the goals they scored were amazing, bar the first one, and I think again it was Hugo Lloris. So if we just sort that out, we should be okay, shouldn't we?
I think so. I think a lot of it has worked against City because of belief, because we constantly go into that game and have thought, do you know what? We have a very good record against them. We have a chance here. And City have been the other side of that. City have almost gone into it nervous, thinking, we've lost to them in the Champions League. We've lost to them in the league twice in a row. We've had all of this. So yeah, it's having the right mentality. And like Ross said, it's sticking with the system that Conte is going with and working with. I don't want to talk about the defence in the second half of that City game because it will drive me insane. But I just think if they can play like they did the first half, I think we'll be all right. I think we could get a result. But I want a result as well to add to that, because there are a lot of people that are like, we want City to win because we don't want Arsenal to win the league. And I cannot stand that thinking. We are Tottenham. We are not anti-Arsenal, everything else. We are Tottenham. We want Tottenham to win. I'm bored of the constant
Facts.
I'm
bored of it. I'm bored of it. So no, I want us to go for it. Like
Love
every
that.
game.
What a way to obviously wrap up this massive conversation with a Connor speech like that. I loved it. Thank you to everybody that has tuned in tonight. We'll do the rounds in a minute. If you are new, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you never miss a video. It was nice to obviously tonight to talk about a win, which hasn't happened in a long little while, and obviously dissect everything else that's going on, especially those 2 games that are coming up thick and fast. Before we go, I just want to say a big thank you to my guests. So Ross from across the pond, thank you so much again for being a channel member. Where can everybody find you doing your thing? Oh,
Muted Ross.
he's unmuted himself.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, you can. Thanks so much. I'm glad to be back. You can find me on Twitter at Spursy Knight with a K, like medieval knight. That's where I am. I post a lot of things, Tottenham and other things.
Nice. Thank you, Ross. And I do really appreciate it. Make sure you go check out Ross. Also, Jay, thank you for joining me once again from the other room. So where can everybody find you?
They can find me in the other room. They can, the free teas, Twitch, TikTok, and Twitter. You can normally find me playing various games on Twitch and annoying people on Twitter by talking about Pochettino.
Anyway, thank you, Jay, for joining us. Make sure you go check out Jay. If you love Poch, maybe don't, because you'll get wound up from him. But moving on, Connor, thank you again for jumping in last minute as well. I do really appreciate it. Where can everybody find you doing your thing?
It's always a pleasure. Mainly on TikTok, that app that was made for kids, and somehow everyone's on it now. It's CT's for Clovenia. I do make YouTube shorts, sort of basically the TikTok videos. CT's for Clovenia 1. I'm on Twitter, CT's for Clovenia. I'm on Instagram, CT's for Clovenia. Don't ask why it's the name, but yes, you can find me there. And also, as I always say, make sure to like that button for Hollie, subscribe to Hollie, do all sorts, because it's good. It's good. So yeah.
No, thank you, Connor. I appreciate it. Like I say, it wouldn't be anything without you guys coming on to obviously talk about it with me. So I appreciate that too. Like I said, thank you to everybody in the chat. I don't think I'm going to do a Hollie Hotspurs live next week. I might just do a roundup video of obviously the Preston one. But I'll be back obviously the week after to talk about City. So until next time, like we always say, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.